All right, we are live. Greetings, fellow traders. Let me get this tweeted out so we can join in here. 1 second. All right. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. All right, so it's taking a minute here for this to get loaded up here. 1 second. I don't know why it takes YouTube a second there to get
It's
loaded.
taking a minute here
for it's got to hit refresh. So good stuff. All right, guys. Well, hope everybody had a great trading day today. So it was Fed day, so it was interesting, right? So, but anyway, let's keep going, right? So today we're going to continue our conversation on day trading, and today we're going to talk about sector rotation with a focus today on XLF, so the financials, very, very important sector to evaluate not only their own strength and the strength of the individual constituents, but also to evaluate the strength of the market too. Before we get started, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Good, good, good. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to check to see where we left off the market today, and then we're going to take a look at the futures and see what we got going on this evening that we could possibly be setting up into tomorrow. And then we're going to take a look at the topic, and then we'll go through questions and chart requests. So let's get started. So here we go. So SPX. What a day today! So it was Powell day today. It was Fed day today. So down 15 points. Thanks, Powell. Really appreciate it. Right. So what a pal. So anyway, we pushed down below the upper Bollinger Band here. Red candle on the month so far. Weekly chart still pretty choppy right here, but this is kind of the key consideration as we go into the final two trading days of the week. Upper shadow so far off of the weekly chart, off of the prior week's upper shadow. This is turning into a big resistance level, right? And one of the key areas here too is that we finally broke back down below the prior all-time highs. That's just a major level right here. So that 3,400, 3,497 area. So we closed below that today. And if you look at the SPY, we actually closed below it with a little bit of volume here today too. So again, as we're in this, here's the volume right here. So again, as we evaluate this and we look and see what's going on here in the market, right? One of the things is, if you're in the trend box, right, a lot of people just don't even trade, right? Because it's crazy. But it does give some interesting intraday moves, especially when the volatility starts to pick up and gives you some big ranges intraday. Now we haven't had too many big ranges today or big ranges recently, but we're still seeing some good action in here. Today, yesterday a little bit sketchy, but still some decent moves. Right, so you can still find the intraday trade moves, but right now we kind of have to really see what's going on right here. So there's a couple things that could be happening in this trend box. Right, when we're in the trend box, we're in a corrective pattern. If you follow Elliott Wave, right, we did our series on that last week. And one of the things that we want to kind of look at right here is what type of corrective pattern this could be, right? So from the lows, right, this could very well be the wave 5 top right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Or you could start it from here. This could be a 1, 2, 3, and we could be in wave 4 right now as we bounced off the 50-day moving average and still in the trend box. But this impulsive move down that we had to break below the trend line right here, we're now consolidating after that. So this looks like a bit of a zigzag type formation. If it is, that's a 5-3-5, right? So you'd have an impulsive 5-way down, ABC 3, and then we'd actually see another impulsive move down. So what we'd see is a potential symmetrical move from this move here, and then after the pause, if we activate this, the trend line here, it's supposed to activate the trend line. Activate trend line. There we go. We might see a symmetrical move back down, which would correspond to filling the open gap there on the weekly chart that we talked about already, and also to the bottom of the daily cloud. So we could see if that holds as potential support, and then we start to work our way back up there. It would still support, even holding the bottom of the cloud right here, would support the wave 1 theory right here, because that would be wave 1, 2, right? And the wave 4 wouldn't cross below the area of wave 1. So we just see how that goes there. That being said, pretty interesting stuff. So we're still in the trend. Anything could happen at this point, right? We'd really like to see a bullish close over the prior week's high, which was last Wednesday's high, and then and see if we can work our way back up there, get it back above the all-time highs, and then just shift the trend line over and back to being bullish until proven otherwise. But while we're in here, still some pretty sketchy stuff. So let's take a look at the intraday price action and see how that was behaving here today. So let's see. So 15-minute chart. So pretty important stuff, right? So one of the things that we noticed today is that we had we still had the closing gap right here that didn't get filled early. It tried to do it right here, but we had a pretty big range at the open, right? So a pretty decent range. And what happens with that, right, before we go into a major event like this, we have a range, right? A lot of times the the extremes like to get faded, right? So we had a quick fade here off the lows, then we had a fade off the highs, then we pushed down a little bit below here, right? We couldn't quite get to the closing gap, and we faded to the highs again, inside 15 back down, faded off the lows again, and you can see it just kept on expanding itself here today. And a big upper shadow. This push up right here was while Powell, put the rates out, rates unchanged, and I was like, okay, yay, everything's awesome. They started talking, and everything is not so awesome. So we'll see how that goes right there. But then this is an amazing down move here off of the what we like to call irritable Powell syndrome, right? So it gave a push down off of that. Let's take a look at the levels here intraday. Right, you can see how well they played out, especially the prior day's levels. Right, we finally filled the closing gap right here, and then we worked our way down. But what I really loved here was this retracement here to our key level, because once we saw that we were impulsing back down, right, this is very, very similar to a zigzag type formation, right, a 535, but definitely working on an impulsive, definitely looked like an impulsive wave. If we look at the S&P futures, we use supply and demand on the S&P futures, and we had these key levels as well. So this kind of gives us zones to work with, right? And so this down move right here intraday was beautiful, right? Because we rallied and we came right to the 382 retracement before we flushed down even more. So and that got us to the next signal zone. It was a very strong candle with increasing volume, and just a little bit of a rally off of that to get to the next signal zone before bouncing. Great place to take profit down here. Some people actually in the group actually bought the dip on this area right here and made a nice profit off of that, and then we had the craziness into the close. We stalked this one on the live stream at the close too. Just amazing how well these signal zones came into play today. Just a quick tag of the signal zone again, and before it worked its way back down. So really, really impressive stuff here today. So good stuff. So let's take a look and see what the futures up to this evening. They're down 7 points, but they're rallying a little bit off of the lows here. So I mean, one of the things that we could look at here is that this could have been just the start of a one wave itself. We could this type of formation right here is kind of interesting, right? So it's sort of like a maybe like an A, B, C. It's a little bit tricky here going into the after hours. But at this point, it looks like maybe this was like an ABC move right here, and they're trying to impulse up right now. So we'll see how that goes in tomorrow. It's very, very possible that we see a retrace here. We're at a 382 kind of area right now. We'll see if it gets up as high as the 618 before it decides which way it wants to go. So pretty interesting stuff. We have some levels below, but let's put a couple geometric lines here going into the evening and just kind of track those, right? So if we see this right here, let's see how those levels hold. It really does look more like a channel here, so I'm going to put a downward channel on it right now and see how that holds going into the rest of the evening. So we'll kind of keep an eye on this, right? And we'll keep an eye on that right there. So, and we'll see how that goes here through the rest of the night and what we might have in store for tomorrow. So if we break through these levels, right, it's got to work its way up, and it's really got to try to get above these areas right here to really show some bullishness going into tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, good stuff, guys. So let's take a look at the discussion here for this evening. So again, we've been talking about day trading sector rotation, and really, really important stuff. It's like, where's the big money, parking their money if it's flowing out of other stuff, right? They don't just put it to the sidelines most of the time unless we're really crashing, right? So they tend to plant it somewhere else and let it grow a little bit, So one of the sectors, a really important sector, is the XLF, right? So these are the financials for the most part, right? These are your banks, right? J.P. Morgan, Bank of America, Citi Financial, right? The financial companies, right? And this is a really important sector to keep in mind, not just for finding moves that could potentially be happening on the other time on the constituents, but also for the overall market strength itself. The banks are really, really important, right? They're kind of like the backbone of the economy in a way, right? So it's a really, right? We remember back in 2009 when the banks failed. Well, the banks failed and the market failed, right? So that was a really big indication of the economic situation, right? So when the banks are strong, it's hard to be bearish on the market, right? So this happened recently, right? We had a kind of a bearish day, but the banks were strong. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at the XLF and compare it here to the SPX, and that'll kind of lead us into a conversation that will wrap up with our series tomorrow, right? So let's go to the daily chart here on the SPX, and then also kind of look and see what's going on. We'll do an overlap here with the XLF. So this is a important concept right here. So let's go to, we're going to add studies, and we're going to do add study. We're going to do all the way to the bottom here. We're going to do compare with, and then we're going to hit custom symbol, and we're going to type XLF in here. Right, so we've done this before with other sectors as well. But one of the really interesting things is sometimes we see the market working its way down. For instance, here on this day right here, it was tough to be really bearish, right? So we're looking for a momentum move through these levels right here. on the SPX, we were like, okay, well, maybe the market's breaking down below its upper trend line. We're starting a big reversal on this one. But notice how the XLF was pushing up during that time, right? So it's tough to be like really super duper bearish in the market when the financials are strong, right? You can see they were rallying up here and the market rallied up with it. Now they're actually relatively decent here today with the market pulling back. So it's kind of interesting to see how that's going to play out here with the overnight bearishness here and where that comes into play. So let's take a look at the XLF here. Just on the daily chart and take a look at it and see how it's doing. So you can see here today on the XLF, it was actually a pretty reasonable day, right? So it did leave an upper shadow, but it wasn't totally weak, right? It actually closed essentially with a green candle today, in a bit of an upper shadow. But that shows here, despite the potential weakness on it, it shows that, hey, maybe that down move wasn't, so bearish, right? It's not until the banks really start to push their way down, right, where we start to get a little bit worried that the market may be actually looking for some more downside, right? So it's very, very important to keep an eye on the banks and what they're doing, right? So other than that, right, it makes a great sector too to look for good trades, right? So we recently saw a couple nice moves here at the beginning of August on the XLF for a good move up right here. So let's take a look here at 8.7, where you can see that was working its way up here on the XLF for a couple days in a row. And when we see the XLF move, and a couple of the names that we like to trade, one of the best ones to trade typically, JP Morgan, right? It's kind of like best in breed. Right, so when we see the XLF is strong, we want to see what our banks are doing, right? What our other banks are doing here. So you can see on 8.7, JP Morgan was really, really strong with the XLF. And then it pushed its way up the next day, and then a huge gap up the next day. So that really gave a move. You can see how the XLF was strong. Well, trailing it with JP Morgan is a great way to go, right? It actually ended up finishing green today, too, despite the market's redness. Now, again, it always helps to have your charts available, to see what's going on with it. Again, it's kind of at a geometric crossroads right there. But right now, it's basically been triangulating for a while, and so we're basically just kind of waiting to see what's up, right? So to see what's happening. So again, if the financials flush and the market's flushing, well, that's a good confirmation that there's weakness in the market, right? So so definitely something to keep in mind, and a great sector to focus on, or at least have on your ETF list when you're trading to key into stronger stocks, right? Because Bank of America was another one, right? Yesterday, right? So it was if we go back here into the intraday chart. Okay, so even today, right? So I mean, just Bank of America just hung in there pretty well, right? That wasn't until like really at the end of the day where it gave a quick down move and then up, right? So even when the market was flushing, it was still overall strong for the rest of the day, right? So we definitely like looking at Bank of America to see what kind of levels it has right here. Had a weak day the other day, but even here, back on the 14th, right? Very, very good relative strength at the open when the XLF is showing strong. So Bank of America is going to look at, again, it's a tricky one to trade, right? It's very, 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 very tight spreads, right? So you have to kind of gauge it accordingly, right? So it's tough. Maybe make 10-cent moves on it on the options, maybe 20 cents, but that's sometimes out of a big push on the on Bank of America is what we could see, right? And then you look at JP Morgan, JP Morgan too, not as stellar, right? It had a rough close of the day, but it still had some relative strength, and it wasn't until really, it started flushing, the XLF started pushing down, that we started to see some more downside movement in the market. So very, very important stuff, and to track this sector. So good. Well, I hope you guys found that helpful. And at this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to play those in the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can and try to wrap up as early as possible so we can all get a good night's sleep and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. Shirley sent a few in via email. And once again, guys, thanks for keeping Shirley in your thoughts and prayers. She gets better every day. Let's take a look at Beyond Meat. So, wow, Beyond, what a day today. We were looking for a pullback on this one earlier, and it just didn't give it, right? So it was quite an impressive move today. Nice breakout over these levels, good volume, and like we said, it cleared that 150 level and gave a nice move. Now, be careful with Beyond. Beyond, is one that usually does only a couple days of a breakout, and then it pulls back pretty harshly, right? So that's definitely something to keep an eye on there. Again, it was basically a big move at the open. We were focusing on Twitter at the open, which is really, really nice too. And then it was just kind of chopping, the rest of the day here. So keep an eye on Beyond, see if it gets any follow through the upside. Nice find on that one here for today. APPS. Great one from yesterday. This one we added to the bull. Wow, we added this to the bullish game plan today, and really gave a nice move. Great follow through from the upside. Love yesterday's candle. Love the increased volume. When you see the relative strength in names like this that were already strong, even though the market's weak, just beautiful stuff on that one. So very nice there. Let's see if that can continue to get some follow through. McDonald's has been working its way up, right? And even with the bearish market today, still got to all-time highs. Right? It had a good write up in Barron's yesterday, and it's tricky to trade, but it's been kind of grinding its way up. But really nice stuff. This is a trade of the week idea when it got really tight right right here at these resistance levels and still continue to work its way up, which is really, really nice. Win, yeah, so Win had a downgrade right early this morning. So that wasn't too helpful for it, right? It did leave a lower shadow at the bottom of the cloud, but it did off of that downgrade, right? That didn't, in the morning it's like, oh, okay, everything's cool, and then boom, downgrades, yeah, right? So it reacted really heavily to that one, then it found some support levels right here and then bounced. So definitely something to keep an eye on right there. I like how it held the cloud bottom today on the daily chart. And then ZI, Zoom Info. Still working its way down here, guys. So we had a triple inside day off of it, which also ultimately turned into a bear flag right here, and you got that downside follow through on ZI. So let's keep ZI on the bearish radar for tomorrow, and see where we go from there. Give me 1 second. Let me get this pulled up here. Great finds on these ones, guys. 1 second. So we got this here. Tomorrow's Thursday already, if you guys could believe it. Thursday. APPS, I'm going to take that one off the list just because it was bullish already for us here. But let's take a look at ZI for a potential short area and some other stuff here. And good. Yeah, so definitely going to keep ZI on the short radar on that one. So and other great other names too on that one. Win, pretty interesting. Beyond, we'll see if that gets any more fall to the upside, but a lot of times it likes to pull back. Almost tempted to put Beyond on the short radar for tomorrow, just because it tends to pull back so often off of those breakout moves. But good stuff. Mike, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, Amazon actually breaking down. Amazon is going to be on the short radar for tomorrow. So obviously anything could happen overnight with the futures. And if it does, then it can start to work its way up. But it finally broke down below its geometric line, below its trend box right here. Okay, it closed below the trend box, closed below the recent lows with increasing volume. That's bearish, right? So we're going to keep that on the bearish radar tomorrow and see if it gets any follow through on that one, and where they decide to take it from there. I like how it pierced the cloud. I like how it is increasing volume, and it's actually a little bit of support right here. But if it could push below those levels, right, it may come down and actually see 3,000 before you know it. So let's see how it goes on that one. GLD. I know, GLD, goodness gracious. So this thing is gearing up, right? It's trying, right? You had that geometric level right here. Because it reversed so hard off of that, we're actually going to shift the geometric line on top of today's move. But let's see again. Let's see if we can break out. It's getting really, really tight. Just waiting for it to move. And again, increased inflation, discussions today with the Fed could get gold moving again. So let's see how that goes. So good stuff, yeah. ZEK, what's going on? Oxy, let's take a look. So Oxy. Great move, guys. This was a good one. Oil started to get strong yesterday. One of our members actually swung this one overnight, 17 cents to 72 cents today. So really, really nice trade on that one. We have the geometric line right here, which we kind of run into a little bit of upper shadow, but I would like to see if oil can get some follow through into tomorrow. So we did like the oil sector today. It was one of the strongest sectors out there today. So Codex, let's take a look. Outside day today, bullish, right? Over the double inside day. And over the ADMA, looking pretty nice on that one. Let's see if they get any follow through on that. And then Boeing, of course. So Boeing, so still in the triangle. Goodness gracious, this thing ever going to get out of this range? So still getting tight in here. It gave a nice push today, nice reversal today, nice outside day today. Still below the 50-day moving average, still below the cloud, still in the triangle. It makes it really tough. But again, the intraday reversals are just incredible on this thing. Just look at that, held the ADMA all day today. Market's weak, it didn't really care. So pretty impressive stuff. And that was after negative news. So just opposite world type stuff today. So good stuff. Alma, what's going on? Thank you. Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah, so Shop, I know y'all have been asking about this one recently, and we've been talking about this bear flag, this potential bear flag right here. Every time, it's a big impulsive move down, right? So if you actually draw a Fibonacci on this thing from the drop down right here, it actually gave a pretty nice move. It wasn't quite a 382, but right to the ADMA right here, and it finally broke down, got tight again, lots of upper shadows, and then flushed down. So nice move on that one. I love how it closed on the lows there. I love how it closed below these levels. It closed right at that level right here. So see if that holds its support. If not, we may see some more follow through on Shop. And then SLV, silver, another precious metal right there. Again, same thing. Really, really tight in this range right here. And just kind of waiting for it to get moving again, but definitely getting tight up here. So that's this is not necessarily bearish, right? It's just kind of potentially bull pennant right here. So let's see how that goes. Good stuff. Ankit, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I hope you had a great day today. Let's take a look at CVX. So again, sector rotation, right? So we saw a lot of rotation into oil today. Now, a lot of these oil names are coming up to their geometric lines. You can see how it's kind of hitting this right here, this trend line down. But kind of gave you a push right here. If we get over those highs, let's see if CVX can continue to work its way up. I really like the oil names going into tomorrow. I'm just a little bit cautioned with the. A little bit caution with those geometric lines, but it would be nice to see those get going again. Let's take a look at Dow. Okay, so Dow had a strong day yesterday, and it did give a nice move today, right? It just kind of came back into that range. It kind of came back into the range today, so back to the 80 MA. Again, these Chinese names are tricky, but it was a great candle yesterday to get some follow through. So nice little gift horse move on that one. Boeing, of course, again, outside day today, bullish, but still contained within the triangle range, right? DKNG. Okay, so DKNG yesterday turned out to be a pause day. Not my favorite type of pause day. I like when it pauses above the prior day's range. So it gets a little bit tricky in here, but it was in the upper end of the range right there. It ended up turning into basically like a sloppy doji sandwich. It worked its way back up and then kind of pulled back a little bit. It really helped that they were talking about doing Big Ten football starting in October. So that's pretty interesting on that one too. Triple M, the heartbreaker. The heartbreaker on that one. So Triple M, again, nasty day yesterday, and then squeezed out some shorts at the lows there from yesterday, and gave a decent push, but then left you with an upper shadow. So really, really tricky one there. Great stuff. Jay, what's going on? Hello, hello. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. G.O., what's going on? Good to see you. Yeah, great list right here. So let's take a look at RXT. So again, Rackspace, all the news about them getting bought out by Amazon and all that stuff was great, and then it just hasn't been really doing much right here. So kind of breaking down a little bit, low volume, really, really tricky on that one. DBX. DBX with an upper shadow there at the 50-day moving average, back to the 80 man that one, so just really, really choppy range on that one. TLT. TLT with an outside day today on the bond, so it's hanging into the cloud right there, rising 200-day moving average. Let's see how it holds. It looks kind of choppy. I mean, it could be kind of like a bearish flag right here, right? So we just had to see how that holds. What else? J&J. So what is J&J doing? So J&J down 49 cents today. I mean, it is just agonizing, right? So this is a really tough name to trade. It was looking like a nice bull flag right here. We broke out, we retested, we got another push to the upside. Now it's coming back to test those ranges below the 50-day moving average today. So let's see how it holds. We got the cloud below it right here, just really, really choppy and sloppy. All right, so it makes it a little bit challenging right there. Pepsi. Let's take a look at the pep. Little pep in the step. And down move today, but holding the 200-day moving average, potential support on that one. VZ. I don't know why I always hit end on this. Maybe because I think Verizon, and then it's the last letter in my mind. Anyway, inside day on Verizon right there is still over an rising 8 EMA. T, also another telecommunications name right there, and also interesting for like some TV type stuff too. Upper shadow right there. Again, really, really tricky here in the the choppy sloppy. Now. Wow, nasty outside day on now there today. Big volume on that, so a little bit of caution on that. See if you want some downside on that. Very, very interesting there. TTD. Again, some of these kind of high volatile software names are a little bit tricky here today. Upper shadow at the 50-day moving average. That one face planted into the 80 MA. SNE. A little bit of news after hours on SNE. I think they're coming out with a PlayStation 5 or something like that. So got a little bit of a pop after hours on that news. Now it's just kind of chopping around right here. This is a tricky one to trade, especially the options. Plus it's an ADR, so it's sometimes gaps all over the place, right? And then Twilio. Twilio still looking like a bit of a bear flag in here, right? So you have that down move right here. So let's just kind of see how that holds. Right now it's still holding these levels as potential support on that. Gary, what's going on? Yeah, the XLE got some rotation. Yeah, oil and XLE, but a lot of oil names are on the XLE, right? So you still have your CVX on there, your XOM, names like that. So it's pretty interesting stuff right there. But yeah, strong move there. Let's see if that can get some follow through in that one. Great sector to look at. Great find, Gary. Hey, what's going on? I hope you're doing well as well. Let's take a look at Square. So Square was interesting, right? This is the one that we almost put on the bullish radar yesterday, and we kind of took it off because I didn't like the upper shadow. We ended up, putting Zoom on there, which actually gave a nice little pop here this morning. But it had some strength at the open. It gave a nice pop, and then it reversed really, really quickly off of that. That shows there's some good selling pressure in this area. It's over the 80 MA, but if it's weak, it might see some more downside on that one. So we'll just kind of keep an eye on it. Looking good to power up? Maybe. I don't know. I don't really like these candles right now. I really want to see it get and close with some volume over 160. And then ARWR. Oh, deja vu. Let's see. Ooh, yeah, up 40% today. I know you guys were asking about this one recently. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we talked about it here this morning in the live stream. Just incredible stuff. Big gap up on this one. A nice move. Tricky one to trade. I looked at the options on it. It was just kind of really just out of play on that. But great move today. And then it found rejection at that major pivot level. Good stuff. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, my pleasure. So have a great rest of your evening. Truth, what's going on? Jets. Yeah, so the airlines, right? That's another great sector to look at, too. So many good sectors out there that we analyze in the morning. I tried to profile the some of the big ones. But Jets has been really interesting. Gave us a push today. Boeing going up really helped with that one. So, again, I like how it closed green today. Z. Good push. All-time highs. Like we said, if it gets over those highs, could see another move up on that one. Neo. Neo, a little bit of a lower shadow there off of the, this is good. This is actually, that's the dip I wanted to buy right there. So a nice tag of the 80 man on that one. I must not have had an alert on it. But a beautiful dip area on that one. So see if that holds. It's drifting down a little bit right here. See if we can get some relative strength. I just really like this off of these, off of this up move right here. Is like a 382 retrace right at the 80 MA. So let's see if that can gear up and get some strength on Neo going tomorrow. I'm actually going to put that on the bullish radar just to see if that can get some 382 follow through on those Fibonacci. So good stuff there. And what else? SRNE. Let's take a look. SRNE. Okay, yeah, good candle day, nice outside day after an inside day, and biotech type stuff. But just kind of keep an eye on it right there, see if we can push and get to the 50-day on that one. So it looks like it's eyeing it a little bit. Michael, what's going on? SPY 342 is that level. I know exactly. So many short setups this week. It's been amazing. I know it's been fantastic. GE, yeah, that was a good one too. Somebody mentioned that at the close today. GE up 10% today, which is pretty impressive for GE. Yeah, big breakout candle on that one. Let's see if we get some follow through. That's a huge volume on GE today. So let's see if that can get any more follow through on that. I know, finally moving up. It's got some more after hours too. Look at that. Yeah, nice move on GE today. Let's. I missed that at the close because it was a different move right there. Let's put GE. I can't believe I can't put GE on there. It's just too hard to trade. But it's just tough, right? Because it trades oftentimes in like the fraction of the pennies, right? But definitely one to keep on the radar going into tomorrow. And then APPS, just so beautiful, right? That was a great one. That was on our bullish game plan from yesterday that you guys came up with. I love it. Just a great follow through out of the triangle breakout candle from yesterday. And then GME. GME, I have no idea how this company is still in business, but apparently a lot of people thought the same way and they got squeezed out today. So big move there on GME. I mean, other than a squeeze, I mean, was there any like real news on this thing? Let's see. So not really. This is all after hours type stuff. Oh, I guess maybe the PlayStation helped get it going today. So the Sony news on GME, but we'll see on that one. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, this is what it is. Still listed. SMDC4S present and accounted for. Facebook, what a beautiful follow through from the inside day down today, right? It's still coming into this big congestion zone, so let's see how it goes. You got the 50-day moving average right here, but I just love it, right? Just great downside action on this one. Every rip was shortable today, and just gave some nice moves. It's been just been beautiful, right? So interesting there. Also follow through from the news, FTC news, Kim Kardashian news, all that stuff, right? So some good stuff there. Jay, what's going on? Good to see you. STX. Okay, so Seagate, yeah, nice 2% mover today, up a point there. Watch the upper shadow on that one, and then BMO. BMO kind of getting tight in there a little bit, so yeah, so looking a bit like a pennant right here to see if we can get a sort of volume breakout over these levels right here, a little pennant, little bull flagish type thing. So it could be interesting there. And then Snowy. That's not Snowflake. That's not Snowflake. So again, amazing move today, huge range, right? Almost like a 100-point range today on this thing. This thing's going to be a very interesting one to trade once we get some options on it. So hopefully hopefully this will be a fun one for us going forward. So plus it's got such a cool ticker. Good stuff there. And then Nikola Society. Yeah, Tesla battery day next week coming up soon. Nikola trying to squeeze out some shorts here and there. I gave an epic squeeze today. Then down, now up after hours. It's such a drama name right here. I can't wait to see if we get any actual official stuff off of it. I mean, it was like gapping up today on like an internal review. It's like, yeah, no, we just checked. Everything's fine. It's like, okay. So we'll see how that goes. Joseph, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in again. Awesome. Good stuff. Yeah, so FedEx, guys. Pretty interesting stuff up 13 points. It did not give a gap and go today. Why? Well, it could not get above its pre-market levels at the open, right? So it gave a real quick flush down, then a quick bounce, and then just kind of choppy for the rest of the day. So it's holding up pretty well. It held up pretty well. It held the gap. It just gave a nice reversal intraday. UPS was a good one off of that one too. And then Netflix. Yes, Netflix down again, right? 180-degree reversal today, off of the 50-day moving average and back below the cloud, but the volume really wasn't there, so it's kind of like, okay, we'll see how that goes. So good stuff. So it's interesting how financials showed up. Many times the XLK shows up and the financials are lagging, right? Exactly. So it's just kind of one of those tools that the banks are still strong, right? It's hard to get really super duper short the market. That's just kind of one of those things, right? The market's not going to go down without the financials, right? So pretty interesting stuff there. Definitely want to always keep an eye on there. Good stuff. Michael was going the 3x leverage ETFs. Oh, that's a while. Oh yeah, exactly. Gary, the DXY. So let's I got to put a little dollar sign on that one, right? So it's interesting how they do that. But yeah, dollar's been getting hit, right? Just been getting hammered, right? We had that big triangle up here recently, right? Breakdown over there. I think this is looks almost like a 382 retrace off of that move right there. A 382 retrace off of that, and then worked its way back down again. So yeah, dollar's getting hammered there today, but it did have an okay day today after the Fed. So let's see how that goes on the dollar. Good stuff there. Sumit, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it, Gary. Sumit. So you got Walmart on the radar here. So it's pretty interesting stuff, right? The TikTok drama is pretty much over. Even when it comes up with good news about their Walmart Plus stuff, still leaves you with an upper shadow. So just rejecting the ADMA every time it tags it there. So just kind of see how it holds right there on this this fresh drama name. Mondelez. Let's take a look at this one. So Mondelez. Upper shadow there, holding the ADMA on that one. So let's see if that can continue to work there. Again, volume on that one, but it's still holding the ADMA. So a little bit of caution there. PFE, the name that moves that you think is going to move and then doesn't move. Right, this is just a classic PFE price action, right? But inside day down a little bit, but still holding the ADMA on that one. Gilt. So Gilt. Inside day down, but again, that one is still holding the ADMA on that one there too. So just a little bit of rough action here in a couple of these names. The big name today was INO, off of the biotech type names. That had a huge day today. PayPal, yeah, pretty nasty there, down there too. So watch Square. Square had a nasty pullback today, and PayPal with the down move too. They sometimes go hand in hand. So just kind of keep those on the radar as well. So, but yeah, PayPal a little bit rough there today. Yeah, Gary, yeah, Shop, exactly. So Shop with the bear flag breakdown today. Really looking to see if we get some further downside action. Just watch that level right there as potential support. But below that, right, you could see a little bit lower potentially. Looks like we even have a gap right here too. So let's see how that goes on Shop. Valdez, what's going on? Let's take a look at ED. So ED. Oh yeah, nice move on that one. So careful with the power company names, but I do like they're not really big momentum names, but I do like the candle on that one. Could have been good for day trader if you were holding it from the lows. Definitely a nice follow through on that one. Michael Spot. Oh yeah, so down on Spot a little bit. Again, it didn't help. Right, it didn't help that Apple had their they came out. No, Amazon this morning came out with their podcast. Streaming, so it definitely got down off of that one, but then it recovered a little bit right there. So pretty interesting stuff there on Spot. It's a little doji there below the daily cloud. CVS. A couple of members really like these ones. The drugstores right here. Nice lower shadow right there. Could be a dumpster dive on this one. So let's see how that holds. Big volume on that. So let's see if they capitulated and are ready to try to push this thing back up again. And then Apple, yeah, Valdez. So the kind of a big one to keep an eye on right here. Nasty down moves today, right? It's looking a lot like the market overall. Again, see if it continue to push down. You got open gaps below. You got 50-day moving average below. If it still wants to continue to be weak, but we'll see what it has in store for tomorrow. So far, well, it looks like the S&P futures did end up flushing there a little bit off of that one. PIX, wow, yeah, big push off of that one. Nice move on that. Good candle on that one. A little bit of a penny stock type name, but nice move there. And then Outset Medical looks like it gave you a big inside day after its release. So cool stuff there. And Ankit, yeah, GE. Definitely an interesting one. I mean, big breakout move right there. Big pierce into the pushing in the daily cloud. And with some good volume, right? So it's got some crazy levels it still has to contend with, right? Its recent lows are here, right? So here's your trend line right there. I mean, it looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and put GE on the long list. We'll just keep an eye on it, see what it does tomorrow. So, I mean, it's just such a nice breakout candle on that one. So let's see if we can get any follow through on that one. Good stuff there on GE. And then Tracy, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, so Roku. Upper shadow today, right? So it kind of turned into a little bit of a shooting star right there, but let's see if that can hold. It tried to give a move today, but it gave a nasty reversal in the morning, right? mRNA hanging in there. It's kind of slow climbing its way up there. Not as nice as that INO today. Wow, did you guys see INO? 35% today. What a great follow through from yesterday's candle. And I think just the CEO is just talking about it. Like, oh yeah, we're going to test our vaccines. Okay, cool. Right, so we have that going on there. Tesla. Down about 8 point inside day today, right? It's kind of a big deal on that one. If it breaks down, right, there's an open gap below. We'll see how that holds. There's a lot of open gaps below, but in the meantime, inside day, let's see how it handles those levels, right? So pretty wild stuff. Michael, so I knew you'd be like GE on the bull radar. I know exactly. It's really great stuff. But RDFN, let's take a look. Yeah, may as well put on the bull radar. Redfin, nice. Redfin's tricky. Redfin's tricky, guys. So some good stuff. Tracy, really appreciate the tickers. Yeah, Redfin's just such a crazy price action on this one. You know, probably a hands-off name for me altogether, right? But it is kind of trying to slowly work its way back up. So good stuff there. Truth. Kirk, yeah, let's take a look. Captain Kirk, beat me up. So we got that going on here. So Kirk, again, decent movie there. Watch the upper shadow on that one. Kind of a cheap name, but could be interesting there. I like how it's trying to push its way back up a little bit. And Yari, what's going on? Good to see you. Yeah, let's take a look at AMD. So AMD's been pretty interesting right here. We had a inside day, an outside day, and now an inside day again. So this is definitely very, very interesting levels. It's also within the prior double inside day levels. So again, guys, this stuff has to hold. Otherwise, you got a big open gap below right here. So just despite the support of the cloud and the 50-day moving average potential. So you got that going on there. Snap, crackle, pop. So they gave a little bit of pop today, kind of a doji sandwich, but just couldn't get any follow through on that one. And of course the XLF, our profile name of the day, right? So still ended up green today on the XLF. So it's not to be super duper bearish, but it did leave an upper shadow below the 200-day moving average, sandwich between the 250-day, still above the cloud. So very, very interesting. Let's just kind of see what kind of price action we get. The futures have dropped down another 10 points or so tonight. Looks like they're down about 28 points, so will be very, very interesting. Guys, when the after Fed day, right, if you have a really bearish moves on the Fed day, we do often see a lot of follow through the downside. If you have a bullish day, we see follow through the upside. We may see that trend continue going into tomorrow. So definitely big, very, very important stuff to keep an eye on right there. And then Michael, yeah, so iBio up after hours on another vaccine run. I tell you these things, it's like, is this thing ever gonna? We're going to have a vaccine soon, right? So yeah, big run on that one. Let's see if I can get some follow through on the iBio, and great stuff there. And yeah, OPK. OPK with an inside day on that one, upper shadow, like kind of right at the 8-day moving average. So just kind of see how that holds right there. A little bit tricky on that one. And then KO, Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, a couple upper shadows on that one, a bit of a shooting star right there. Might want to try to test the 8-day moving average, so we'll see how it goes there. These are a little bit trickier names to trade, right? Not big momentum names, but good stuff, guys. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate everybody for tuning in this evening. Awesome questions, awesome chart requests. It's been a fun discussion this week on sectors and sector rotation. And tomorrow we're going to go over a cool little tool that I think you guys will like. But let's take a look here. Overstock. Again, if you're bored, see what Overstock's up to. All right, a bit of a doji day there at the ADMA, so let's see how that goes on that one. Could be pretty interesting. Up a little bit after hours, which is kind of cool. So anyway, guys, good stuff. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. If you're new here, definitely click subscribe on YouTube. If you're just seeing this video for the first time, be sure to hit the notification button because you can see when we go live and we put out videos intraday. So that being said, we'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow for the Good Morning Market Prep video here on YouTube and on Twitter. So I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. Stay healthy out there, and remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you guys soon.